off the thing.
Now you.
Welcome everybody to the Warhammer Meta Chasers. This is your weekly live tournament rundown show, bringing you the best and biggest amazing tournaments for Warhammer 40,000 over the weekend coming up. My name is Paul, your host. I'm joined by these scramblers trying to get points for this month, Dustin Henshaw.
Hi, that's me. I'm a scrambler.
And Adam Camilleri.
G'day.
How's everybody doing? We do this live each and every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. I got Smurfette in the chat, Valentin Pukhtarov. We're here. KR, good to see you. Dorian, Snow Days, Joel. Hope y'all are doing all right. Welcome to the show. We have three great events to talk about this weekend.
We do indeed. We have the Manchester Super Major over in Manchester, and then we also have the 8TC and the Games of Westeros XIX. How many is that in Roman numerals? No one knows.
29. That's sorry, 19.
19.
Yes. Yeah,
19.
19. That sounds correct.
Or 47. I don't know.
Or 47.
That's a long-running event. Wow, 19 years. Fantastic.
Love to see these storied events too. Manchester Super Major, we're going to talk about. This is 336 players in a 7-round event. Another Slobberknocker coming out of England. Dustin, what are we going to see there?
We will be seeing in the Imperial Reflection there are 2 Sisters of Battle, 21 Custodes, 7 Admech, 21 Astra Militarum, 9 Grey Knights, and 16 Imperial Knights. That is a massive Imperial Knight number. Space Marines. Yeah.
they paid attention to last week, right?
Yeah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Space Marines, there's 26 Adeptus Astartes, 9 Dark Angels, 6 Space Wolves, 16 Blood Angels, 5 Black Templar, and 5 Death Watch. Chaos, there's 17 Chaos Space Marines, 3 T-Suns, 18 Death Guard, 14 World Eaters, 10 Demons, and 13 Chaos Knights. Xenos, 18 Necrons, 11 Orcs, 13 Tau, and 7 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 23 Tyranids. Wow. And 8 Genestealer Cult. Eldari, there's 8 Drakari and 29 Eldari. The faction podium is Eldari topping it off at 29. Astartes right behind them with 26. Then Tyranids in third with 23. But then Astra Militarum and Custodes tied in fourth with 21. And then Necrons and Death Guard in fifth with 18. The first two, I think, are pretty standard. But after that...
Yeah. Well, Eldari are back to their Eldari ways, and turns out over the years, if you've been like a filthy meta chaser like we are, you probably have an Eldari army.
Yeah.
So they're just out of the woodwork, straight back into the fire with all their goodness. The step down is very interesting because it's never a surprise to me to see so many Tyranid numbers, but they're one of those ones that pops up, pops down, pops up, pops down, depending on geographical metas and what missions you're playing, and et cetera, et cetera. Astra Militarum and Custodes have been in the top 3 of our podiums, in addition to Necrons, for the majority of the edition. They've at some point, and most of the time, been a top 3 faction when they're relevant. And all 3 of those have been pushed out now by Eldari, Tyranids, and Astartes here. Astartes, no surprise whatsoever.
No.
Once again, Europe showing it's Europe, and Death Guard show up on the podium. It's just a thing.
I think Custodes are actually starting to do that a lot now, too.
Yeah, it could. Well, Custodes. See, I'm really weird on Custodes on their prospects in big singles environments. I think there are some terrain setups where they're much more potent on. I think they like as the Solar Spearhead doesn't love WTC as much. I think it has a lot more prospects playing on the UKTC or the GW maps because they just have a lot more freedom to get their big bases without having to spend a CP around walls. Whereas you can find in WTC, there's just too many walls for them to actively play the game effectively.
No, that makes sense. The Dreadnought build is actually pretty good, especially on these kind of tables like the UKTC and the GW terrain specifically.
Yeah. 100%. We pulled out 1 top player in attendance, and naturally, this the magnifying glass for this event is being heavily put on Eldari because they are
10%. I mean, it's not quite 10%, but a huge chunk of the field.
Huge.
Is
in addition to they're the new hotness, and not only are people interested to see what top players are bringing, but also what are the armies. So not only do we have one of the top players in attendance broken down for you in their list, I've also done the Eldari detachment breakdown for all 29 in attendance. But Vic Vijay is bringing the devoted of Yniad. Yniad?
Yniad?
I don't know.
Yeah, Yniad, I think is closer.
I think Yniad is not. You need to spell it better.
You need to spell it better. Anyway, Yvrain and a Ynnari Archon with the Borrowed Vigor for the extra attacks, which I think is very good. An Autarch, 10 Ynnari Cabalites, 5 Corsair Void Reavers, 5 Rangers, 5 Striking Scorpions, 2x5 Howling Banshees, 3x5 Fire Dragons, 3x5 Warp Spiders, 2x5 Swooping Hawks, 5 Dark Reapers, a single Venom to break up the Cabalites, and 3 Wave Serpents. And once again, I get to say there's a lot of list in this list.
So much MSU, my God. How many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. It just keeps going. He's even bringing expensive stuff. Like there's 3 Wave Serpents in there that are the cost of most of the time 1.5 other units of 5 guys.
He could have 9 more units in there if he just took those.
It's true, he could.
Essentially, yeah. At least like 6 more units at a minimum, depending on how you want to do it. Really low on the Dark Reapers here. So usually we're used to seeing, a lot of other, you see, it used to be Aspect and Warhost and stuff like that will have 10-5-5 or 10-5 or 5-5-5. Only a single unit of Dark Reapers is the surprise here for me. Nothing else makes sense. Everything else makes sense. But yeah, the single unit of Dark Reapers, I really want to ask him, like, what did you find about Dark Reapers that meant you didn't want to take them? He took Swooping Hawks, even though
he's making up for it with I think the 3rd unit of Fire Dragons, which I think you could actually go either way on. So probably wanting to utilize those tricks with the Wave Serpents and things like that, and maybe the Dark Reapers just more of a deterrent, or a way to answer things all the way across the table.
100%. And yeah, maybe he's just not expecting a super need for long range anti-tank. I will say a lot of people I've been talking to have been like exclusively taking out their 3-wound infantry. Like they're like, okay, if we can't get 4-wound infantry, we stick to 2-wound infantry, because 3-wound infantry are just getting punked at the moment. There is a couple of things missing. Of course, what I love to see about this is some of these things show me how good the Phoenix Lord is for their respective aspect host, like akin that Dire Avengers are not worth taking if you can't take Azaman, which is something I echo as well. I think Azaman and Dire Avengers is fantastic, absolutely top tier powerful. But if you can't take Azaman because you're Ynnari, well, then you don't need to take Dire Avengers. What I do find is that he spent so many points on the speed aspects here. So the Striking Scorpions, you have Scout and Infiltrate starting up the board. He's got the Cabalites that'll be split into 2x5 via the Venom. And then instead of going for long range shooting in the Dark Reapers, he's gone for speedy guys. So that being the 3 units of War Spiders, 2 units of Swooping Hawks. I usually find, and some of the other people I've talked to have said, you don't necessarily need both Warp Spiders and Swooping Hawks, because you're like, how much infinite movement does one need in a list? And Vic has decided 5 units of infinite movement is essentially.
Well, sometimes you want to jump over there, sometimes you want to land over there,
Exactly
so
right.
there is, I like being able to absolutely score any card, and those are not wasted units, even if you can double up on those things.
I do very much like the Swooping Hawks as a finisher, because a lot of the time you'll be like, okay, how many units of 5 Eldar do I have to put in to kill this, waste this unit of XYZ has invuln? And you'd be like, okay, well, if I know 100% these 2 units will leave them with like 1 or 2 guys left. And then the Swooping Hawks are actually a great finisher because they grenade and fly over. And then you can just do the last 3 or 4 mortal wounds and pick up the squad without having to bring out your 3rd or 4th unit of 5 guys. Because one of the issues is an overexposure, especially against Ynnari. So Ynnari is, of course, if you kill one of their units in the shooting phase, another one of the units get to move. So what you want to do is you want to chip away their units, and then in one turn pick up 6 or 7 of them. Like just delete 6 or 7 of them. So they're going to get 1 move for losing all those models. Very similar to how people play against Sororitas now as well, when they get 1 miracle dice if they've lost any unit in the phase. So they're like, cool, we don't want to kill anything until we can kill all the things. And that's how you very much want to play against Ynnari as well. Dustin, you've been a little quiet, mate. What do you think of this nonsense?
No, I think it's MSU fast Eldar, and it's very frustrating to play against because that move after a phase really messes with your secondaries and your primary, but you're right.
Yeah.
The exact way to play against it is chip away and then try to kill them all up. The thing is, the Eldar player has full control over what they give you, unless you have even half decent out of line of sight shooting.
Well, and it's playing counterintuitively to the way we've been playing the game for a lot of time, where people have been just maximizing the possible damage that they can do. And so how do you, you look at a unit of 5 intercessors now, who have 20 shots. They don't chip anything in
No.
this army.
They pick anything up.
You can't.
And
You
the
can't
Ynnari player
shoot
wants you to. That's the thing. Like, there's not much that can actually not pick this up. Like, they have to split fire like almost one guy per unit, but they're not going to give you that many units.
Yeah, exactly right. We've packed so much lethality into our armies that it's actually hard to chip down units now. It's hard to activate with your unit and not kill another unit, which is such a juxtaposition to the way we've played this entire edition so far. So I'm really excited to see how Ynnari does and how it starts shaping things. All right. I have a full breakdown of all the Eldari lists in attendance. So all 29 lists have been broken down. I went and checked out what they were bringing. And the one that was most taken is not a surprise to me, but I do not think it's the most powerful you can do. But the reason it's not a surprise is because I think it's how Eldari players want to play their faction.
It's very fun.
So of the 29 in attendance, 13 are Aspect Host.
Yeah.
And then 10 are Ynnari, 10 devoted of Uniad, 4 War Hosts, 1 lad playing Harlequins in Ghost of the Webway, and 1 absolute mad dog playing Spirit Conclave, that being all the constructs.
This is so nice, though. It's like, okay, the book is out. We get to do what we want to do. There's a way to play every version of Eldar that's ever existed. Let's run it.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
Somebody still has their yellow and blue Eldar Wraith constructs painted up, ready to go.
Yep. And they should be able to play those. And I'm going to tell you, it's not a bad detachment.
No, it's not.
I don't necessarily think it's the strongest way to play Eldar, but it ain't bad. It is not bad at all. Yeah, 100%.
That's the only way to play durable Eldar.
Yeah.
Or at least durable in Eldar sense.
Looking at this list, I think you can almost swap the Aspect Host and War Host, because I think there's ways to play like a lot of Aspect Warriors in War Host.
It's true.
But I think this is a great off the blocks way to approach the Eldari.
Yeah, I do as well. Anything spicy there? I mean, I do really think that in a month's time, Devotee of Iniad will be the #1 taken. And in fact, we have another event coming up. I did an Eldari breakdown, which is the case. I think people will somewhat get Aspect Host out of their system just because they're just going to be so excited to play all their Phoenix Lords, because they're all good now except for Mugen. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited for Eldari players. I'm not excited to play any single Eldari player though. All right, time to pick some winners, boys.
Oh, speaking first, I'll pick last.
Yeah, Paul has all the points. So Dustin, you want to go first, and you're going to pick Eldari?
Yeah, I'm going to pick Eldari.
Yeah, you would.
I am. I would pick Innis because he's playing GSC again, but he's been letting me down, so I'm just not doing it again.
I'm going to pick Ashmir Tarim.
Oh, that's what I was going to pick.
That's a good one.
Paul, what do you want, mate?
It's a good question. Demons.
Ooh, nice.
Spicy.
Left field. I like it. It's really not left field, but
no, it's not at all.
I have my reasons.
He knows something. He has info.
He must. All right, what's next?
Next event we're going to be talking about is the ATC team event. It's in Cleveland, Tennessee. This is right near the heart of where the ATC began, which is an awesome little part of town or part of the country. Great folks and lots of good competitors from around the Southeast. 168 players in 21 teams of 8. What are we going to see there?
The Imperial Super Faction there are 1 Imperial Agent Mad Lad, 1 Sister Battle, 11 Custodes, 5 Admech, 17 Astra Militarum, 5 Granites, and 2 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, there's 15 Adeptus Astartes, 1 Dark Angel, 1 Space Wolf, and 1 Blood Angel. Chaos, there's 8 Chaos Space Marines, 1 T-Sun, 12 Death Guard, 9 World Leaders, 13 Demons, and 3 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 11 Necrons, 9 Orcs, 5 Tau, and 4 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 7 Tyranids and 7 Gs to their call. Gs are called almost beating the Tyranid numbers. Holy. Eldari, there's 2 Drakari and 12 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is technically total Astartes because it is a team event at 18. Then Astra Militarum really topping it with 17. Adeptus Astartes at 15, so they really were almost maxing it anyway.
Yeah, man.
There were only 3 teams that did not take Adeptus Astartes. 13 Demons, and then Death Guard and Eldari with 12, and then Custodes and Necrons with 11. The spread here to me is no surprise at all. Like this is exactly This is exactly what I would expect. This is
Demons.
the top 5 here, or actually even the top 7, arguably, are like 7 factions you want in every team if you can take them.
Yeah. Really interesting to see the Tyranids and Genestealer cults disparity, because you assume it's the same players. There are not many people who I know that play GSC and don't play Tyranids, or play Tyranids and don't have a GSC army. It's the same player pool a lot of the time.
Because Force of the Hive Mind was a thing for quite a while.
Was a thing. Correct, was a thing.
He's not sad about it or anything.
No, I'm not bitter at all.
It's a little depressing to only see like one Sister of Battle with one Imperial Agent. Like Imperial Agents and Sisters of Battle are taken in the same quantity, the same as Thousand Sons. Like 2 of those things are not like the other. Like Thousand Sons and Sororitas have both been absolute powerhouse factions.
But you know what would actually make it worse? If that Imperial Agent player has Sisters of Battle in his list. That would just make this.
That's a guarantee.
You absolutely does. You absolutely.
It turns out Imperial Agents is just a better way to play Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, he's like, you know what would make my sisters better? Grey Knight Terminator.
Yeah,
just twist the knife, guys. Just twist the shank. That's rough, absolutely rough. Less Eldari than I thought, than I would have assumed.
Maybe this had something to do with like
timing.
List submissions, maybe, or hobby lag or whatever.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people that don't highly rate Eldari in team events though, because they're an all-comers faction. They're a singles army. It's hard to skew them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is like, if you don't have like a dedicated Eldari player, obviously Eldari is a ridiculously good and consistent one, but if you don't have a dedicated Eldari player, it's not.
Dude, that is something to really be said about this Eldari book. We have had Eldari armies in past editions that I would say didn't require player skill.
Yes, 100%.
Where you see Index Hammer of 10th edition. Did you take
I rolled
the Wraith
Knight?
Yeah, I took a Wraith Knight and I rolled 6s. I guess I win. Yeah, like it wasn't much debate about how this was going to go. This Eldari army is very skill laden.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to be good with this army. Yeah. Otherwise, you will go in being confident with your tricks and shenanigans, make a mistake, and get tabled. And I will say that is something that they've done very well with this codex.
Demons KR in chat says surprised only a handful of knights. And if you saw some results from last week, and we actually talk about this in our Patreon part 2, the knights seem to be a really good answer for some things that are out there right now. I mean, I would even suspect demons, but also Eldari.
Yep, 100%. I do think demons will start. Demons and knights will start to rise. I expected to see a lot of knights and demons here at this one, and demons did definitely show that, but the knights didn't, because they're legitimate pins for Eldar at the moment. Chaos Knights is what I'm talking about. Chaos Knights, demons, and Crescents of Bile look like the 3 armies that have the chance to run over demons. Like they have
Eldari.
Eldari. Those guys. That one. The knights.
Yeah. Look, we're talking about a lot of factions because there are a lot of factions present right now, which means it's amazing.
There are so many factions in 40k. And demons getting good representation here is not a surprise. 13 of 21 teams deciding demons was the way to go. Didn't have a chance to deep dive into that, but I do assume most are the Slaneshi pressure list.
We got some winners.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I didn't do a team breakdown here because I didn't have that kind of time. But I'm going to pick first on this one. Paul can pick last all week. It's Dustin and I's last chance to get points this week. So yeah, you're on the back burner. I'm going guard all the way. I'm just backing guard every event.
I'm surprised you didn't stack this episode with like 7 events, so you could try to get.
Yeah, that would have been a tactic. That would have been a tactic.
And yet, I needed to sleep.
Sleep.
Dustin, what would you like, mate?
I'm gonna take Get Up Astartes.
Nice. And Paul.
You got Astra Militarum. I think it's going to do really well. Astartes. I'm going to go Demons again. Why not? Demons again.
Yep, send it. Demons all week. Yeah, boy.
Actually, no, I'll back it up. I'll go with Eldari. I think people have Eldari's number, but I think they can still.
Well, it's 8 player teams. So if your pairings person is better than their pairings person, Eldari can just run a rough shot. Yeah. Absolute rough shot.
Going with the Eldari. Great luck to all the people that are going to be competing this weekend. Next event we're going to talk about is the Game of Westeros, where we determined was the 19 And
Yep.
Westeros, Sweden, 124 players in a 5-round event. What are we going to see there?
In the Imperial Super Faction, there are 2 Imperial agents and 1 Sister of the Battle. Oh! 3 Custodes, 3 Admechs, 6 Astra Militarum, 2 Grey Knights, and 2 Imperial Knights. Space Marines, there's 12 Adeptus Astartes, 1 Dark Angel, 2 Space Wolves, 6 Blood Angels, 3 Black Templar, and a Death Watch. Chaos, there's 6 Chaos Space Marines, 1 T-Sun, 5 Death Guard, 9 World Leaders, 5 Demons, and 6 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 8 Necrons, 9 Orcs, 1 Tau, 0 Votan.
Very surprising.
Very surprising. Hive Mind, there are 12 Tyranids and 1 Gene Stealer Cult. In Eldari, there's 1 Drukhari and 14 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is once again Eldari topping it off, Astartes and Tyranids again in second with 12, and then World Eaters and Orcs in third with 9.
Yeah, exactly the same podium as our first event, which was also a singles event. Yeah, the 1, 2, 3 are exactly the same.
That's crazy.
Yeah, really, really wild.
What are the Tyranids doing now? Like, what is causing them to have this?
Well, let's jump the gun a little bit, because I did a detachment breakdown for the Tyranids in this event. So let's jump to that.
Okay.
And then Dustin give us the lowdown here, and then tell you what's up.
There we go. Oh, yeah, Invasion Fleet. That makes sense. So the Tyranids detachment breakdown, out of the, 12 Tyranids, 7 are Invasion Fleet, 3 Vanguard Onslaught, 1 Assimilation Swarm, and 1 Crusher Stampede. So obviously the Invasion Fleet is the consistent one, which is the index one.
It's the Gladius.
It's the Gladius of the. That it's funny that nobody's using Synaptic at all. I'm not surprised that the Grotmus is not even in contention at all. Like, it's not even, nobody's even considering it. It's just not. But Invasion Fleet is just, it has everything. It has your Field No Pains. It has good stuff for your hordes, good things for your monsters. It increases your damage to any army you want to fight, just because of its army rule. It's just great against everything, and you can build it all around as a singles list. It's incredible, and as like even an early defender in teams, fantastic.
If I had to give a prediction on these before I saw them, I thought the numbers of Invasion Fleet and Vanguard may have been swapped.
Vanguard
with Eldari
has been,
and Guard. Sorry,
Vanguard has been a lot more popular lately. That's actually mostly been in teams.
It has mostly been in teams. That is true,
because that's a skew list. Yeah,
exactly right. But I feel like their skew is where they want to be into the top factions, and most of those I'm talking about is the only issue is Invasion Fleet's a lot better against Marines than Vanguard is. Vanguard can kind of get run over by Marines, whereas it has great game into Astartes and Eldar. Invasion Fleet's, I guess, more even into all of them.
Invasion is just like, it's consistent. That's why I'm saying it's like the best for singles, because it has a game into everything. Vanguard can, but it has a rougher time into some specific matchups. So, but it will run over some of them though.
Yeah, I've played against Vanguard Nids with my just Gladius Marines all the time, and I just can just run at them. They just don't have all their damage is like AP1, AP2, and this of course was before the AOC nerf, and you can just AOC on demand and just not die and kill them back, because they just don't have the damage output. And then when you're running at them, all their 6 lone ops doesn't matter. You just go punch them. But Invasion Fleet is just so well rounded. It kind of just does everything.
Really it does. It has everything.
All right, jumping back to the other detachment breakdowns, let's have a look at the Eldari one. So there's 14 Eldari players in attendance. You saw the caption? Yeah, dying species, my ass. 4 Yunari, 4 devoted of Iniad, 4 aspect hosts, so they're the same. 3 war hosts, 1 goes to the webway, that being Harlequins, 1 Spirit Conclave again, and 1 Wind Rider host.
I'm surprised we're not seeing more Wind Rider hosts. I figured more people would be jumping on that bandwagon.
So there could be hobby lag holding people down. They just don't have, the prerequisite. At least, yeah, exactly right. Well, you're gonna want to have 3x6, and guess what? You can take 6x6 if you want, and then in that detachment, you kind of want some Shroud Runners, and you probably want some Shining Spears, and that's a lot. It's a lot. Not many people had that army ready to go.
I think Lycus turns that army list up to 11 as well.
Lycus and 2 Warwalkers just make that army just explode. But once again, like the other detachments, it has a bunch of downsides. Once again, it doesn't do well against high armor save multi wounds. which a bunch of the other detachments do extremely well into, because essentially your best is AP. You can get AP2 ignores cover on scatter lasers, or AP3 ignores cover on the shuriken cannons, depending which one you take. And so, but that's one unit you get to do that against. You know, if your army is just like Custodes and they just push 3 units of Wardens at you in one turn, you kind of can't do anything about that. They're just going to kill you on the primary. Even if you do eventually kill them, you'll probably be like 20 points down. And so, but yeah, Hovulag's probably holding the Windrider host back. And so Aspect Host and Ynnari seem to me to be the two most well-rounded of them. And of course, Ynnari is the one that deals with pressure lists the best. So that's why I think Ynnari will slowly start to tick up and take over.
Are you saying that because once they put a little pressure on you, you're able to kind of like reposition things to conserve maybe some of your units? Okay.
You're able to just kind of continue to put out roadblocks reactively as they kill things. You're also able to have fights first on demand. Like, so if people do try and chip down your units, that turns on your ability to have fights first versus pressure lists. When they charge you, you fights first, and you go and smack them. In addition, they've just got a subset of stratagems that enables them to do a bonkers amount of stuff, and they've got the surge move as well. So there is just a lot of. That's why it's more well-rounded than the others. The others either shoot or fight well, and Aspect Host does all the things very well, but Ynnari just does it a little bit better than Aspect Host, in my opinion.
5-1 is crazy too. Sometimes it just it's either like a repellent for your opponent, puts them in different, or it helps you get out of situations. And you've got the Vizark as well.
And like, I really like the Ynnari Archon, and I really like the Ynnari Incubi as well. I think both of those are making it into lists. Of course, you can attach your Vrain to those as well and kind of take it to another level. I think that's really good. What I am excited to see is what people can do with Ghost of the Webway, because I think the Harlequin's attachment is extremely, extremely powerful as well for the same reasons. But it doesn't have the shooting. Doesn't have like the baseline shooting that all Eldar come to the party with. It's got some
tools though. If you pack, I mean, maybe I haven't looked at the points admittedly of like how much you can actually get in there, but I know there's a little bit they can sprinkle in.
They live and die with the 4-up like harder than any other faction.
That's true.
Mostly die by it because of the low wounds.
Fair enough.
All right, I have one more detachment breakdown for you. This is the Adeptus Astartes, because naturally I want to do a completionist journey of the top 3 factions representation. A lot more Gladius than you would have thought. I was supposed to make 10 minutes to go back through every of the Space Marine lists and find out how many of them were the bloodless or the unrighteous varieties.
Angels in name only?
Exactly right. So at least 2 of the 12 were people who were playing Black Templars with no Black Templars models.
Whoa.
In order to get the +1 to wound. And of course, there was 1 playing Blood Angels without any Blood Angels models to get the +1 to wound. But the rest were 6 Gladiuses, 3 Vanguards, and 1 Ironstorm to make up the 12.
I mean, +1 to wound is a big deal.
It really
is. It's a big deal.
Yep.
That's pretty
Some
good.
Some would say. Army defining.
Some would say you pick a unit to get rerolls to hit and +1 to wound against. It's pretty good.
Think of how good it is. Like, generals bending over backwards to attain it. It is incredibly powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely think that there are some that aren't worth doing it with. I mean, I don't particularly think Black Templars is one that's worth doing it with.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, and I'm interested in that list as well. But it's just such a head twister. And when I saw those when I looked up those lists, I was like, come on, guys, you're Blood Angels. And I'm like, but wait, are they? I mean, they don't deserve to be.
They are a Codex chapter. I'd stand by whatever it takes to get your faction on the table, and that's So I kind of take it with on both sides.
Quickly, while we're treading water here, drawing breath, I want to see how many of the Blood Angels people are what we call the Bloodless Angels. And if you don't know what that means exactly what we're talking about. They haven't taken any Blood Angels units in their armies.
No Sanguinary Guard, no Mephisto,
Death Company, no Dante. Yeah, exactly right. First one is not. They have a Dante. So 1 actual Blood Angel so far.
Nice.
Okay, we're on a good record right now.
Two actual Blood Angels.
Oh,
fantastic
streak.
Dante, 3 actual Blood Angels.
Okay, you're getting shut down now.
Dante's real good.
No, this one has Mephisto and Dante, 4 actual Blood Angels.
Wow.
This one, surely. Not Mephisto and Dante as well. 5 actual Blood Angels. All right, will the 6th one be a Blood Angel? Or will they be bloodless? Nope. They're a true blood angel as well.
That's
so
right. There we go.
There we go. I'll shut my big mouth.
Yeah. It's the Black Templars' turn to be not
to be weird.
Templars. Not...
Yeah. I do genuinely believe it's
maybe
blood
the
angels are the
Blue
only
Templars? Blue Templars. That's what.
Can you,
Blue
if you
Templars.
don't do that with the Black Templar, can you still take the multi-meltas on your impulsors?
I would say no.
Well,
I don't know the answer to that, by the way.
Is there
I don't know. I don't know that
the
either of
actual
these
data
players
sheet
doing
is a
that.
Black Templar impulsor, right?
It's a Black Templar impulsor.
So
so
no,
you wouldn't be able to.
You can't.
Imagine if you took like wolfless space wolves
No.
and like you just
You wouldn't be able to put a single model on the table.
no, you wouldn't. So
everything-
good. All right, time to pick us some winners, gents.
Okay, Adam, go ahead.
Eldari.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh,
I'm sticking my guns. Astra Militarum.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do Eldari then.
Oh no!
Oh, I don't want to hear it, Paul.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my little
Tyranids.
violin out for you.
Yeah.
Oh man,
And he's gonna
How
get
bad
points for
would it be?
Tyranids. He's
He gets
100%
points for
getting
Tyranids.
points for Tyranids. I
He
was thinking
is.
about them too.
and it's gonna
There's
burn. It's gonna burn
There's
in your gullet,
absolutely
Dusty.
no way he doesn't get points for Tyranids. None. There's zero
Oh,
chance.
that's gonna suck.
Well, I got to finish this month out in the double digits. So.
Ooh, dude, I don't know. Has any of us ever made double digits?
Yeah,
in a month?
one month, two of us did. It was like a 13.
Oh, that's
11,
right.
yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah.
That was a wild month. All
But
right.
this, I mean, yes, that was crazy, but this is an unsolved meta right
Yeah.
now.
Hmm. Very much
We're
Xbox.
mostly guessing, right? I mean, mostly.
So,
we're
attribute
100%
all of this to luck. I mean, I should say, we of course make some educated predictions, but there is a lot of like the more you know now. Now it's the generals.
Mhm.
Now it's the environment. Now it's what type of terrain they're using. There's a lot of that factors into what you the best on that day, and it's kind of refreshing to see that it's not just the army list.
Yeah, it's actually every time that we're wrong, it makes me a little happy.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Because we
the
follow
meta
this
being
every week,
unpredictable.
right? We are making educated guesses, like Paul said. So when we're wrong, like that's awesome. That means we had no idea. It's unpredictable. That's great. We love that.
Because anybody can get out there and bring down some gold
Exactly.
if it's their day. That's the three events we wanted to cover this week.
It is.
Now, this is like, if you made it this far in the show, please do not forget to subscribe if you have not already. That means a lot to us. That's one of the ways to like interact with the show that is hassle free. Hopefully, it's just one click. Do all the clicks. Do the bell. Do the like. Leave a comment. That kind of tricks the algorithms into thinking other folks should come and hang out with us as well. This is also the point in the show to where we would plug a sponsor. But we're going to sponsor ourselves. Check out our Patreon. Takes an incredible amount of work to put this show together. We do it each and every week live. Got to put everything, all the research that goes into it. The Patreon is a way of saying, if you can do that, thanks a lot. This way in saying what's up to us on that as well. Any type of support that you can do, even if it's just coming and hanging out and chat, which I did mention, we do this live each and every week. We have a great chat community. Come hang out with us. Every bit is cool. We really appreciate it. But this is the part in the show where we sometimes get a little bit silly. This is a segment that after we talked about the ins and outs, the hard coding, the wins, the losses, the stats, the glory, the defeat. Now we talk about what could be a senseless topic for the next 10 minutes or so.
Senseless. What are you talking about?
In a segment we call the Fuego Rapido, where we give ourselves a series of topics and then a clock to talk about those topics. And once that clock runs out, we abandon the topic, never to return to it again, unless demanded by the patrons. Sometimes there's a theme. The theme of this Fuego is best in genre bands.
Bands, artists, whatever it ends up being. So,
X.
This is going to be highly contentious.
Yes. we get kind of heated with some of these sometimes. We rarely agree.
I'm ready to fight.
I'm still reeling. I'm still reeling from having to decide between Die Hard and Predator. I'm not happy about having to make that decision.
Thought of so many good additions. And I actually try to put a few of them in our Discord.
Yeah, it's true. We always remember them after the fact.
So you know how much water I've wasted, being in the shower like the next day and being like, damn it. No, I should have said that.
Should have said that. Yep. That's what Discord's for. Put it in the Discord. That's what we do
let's do
it for. Okay. First one, best in genre, best pop artist. Now, be careful
So
with this one
pop
because
of
honestly,
all time,
yes, all time. All of this is all time.
Queen.
They're a pop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at one point in time, yes, that was pop music. Yes.
Really?
So the names that come to mind, apart from Queen, would be like Elvis,
Beatles.
Prince, the Beatles. What else?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, Elton John.
Yeah.
I got to go with Queen though. Like 100% Queen beats all those in my mind. As far as the best, like they made the best, most complex, beautiful music.
They did.
And threw in like nerd stuff every now and then too.
Yeah, shit, Frank Sinatra is we're gonna go all the way back.
Jeez.
But yeah, for me, it's Queen.
I've really come to appreciate Bruce Springsteen the last few years.
Okay, there's no way he's pop.
Wait, there's no way he's not pop. What is if he's not pop?
Isn't that like
what, country? I don't know.
He's kind of like country, isn't he?
What are you?
Well, so just so we're clear, you can be pop and other artists. Like if I said the Rolling Stones, they're going to come up in the best rock band as well as best pop artist.
Yeah, and like when you like going to classic rock, where you could there could be a band
they can be in multiple ones. Okay, I can accept that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they have the fact that they were pop and the fact that they're in the genre of music.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you got like a ton of one-hit wonders too. But if we're talking like best pop artist consistent throughout more than one album, maybe even a decade or two, it's Queen.
Right. I still don't know if Queen is actually pop, but if they are, that's 100% Queen.
Right. Well, we got two against one anyway, so Queen wins.
Yeah, since Queen wins regardless. I have to go with it.
We could have been completely wrong and just been like, just 2 versus 1 doesn't even matter.
All right, next one, best rapper.
Oh, it's Eminem.
Eminem.
It is.
I'm not even second guessing that at all.
But but you can look at this in different ways though.
If anybody says Vanilla Ice, I swear.
Oh no, he's not a rapper. The only I think there's only 3 in contention, and it is Eminem, Tupac, and Biggie. They're the only 3 that I would consider on my Mount Rushmore. They're not even a 4th spot. And
yeah,
the only issue is that the other 2 I mentioned didn't have the ability to have the longevity in music making that Eminem has.
Well, let's look at their freshman releases, or their
their initial
early releases, where they were in their respective careers. Given the time frame of those careers, you're right. It's kind of hard to beat like just the flow and the lyricism of the ones you mentioned as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them out there that are like considered greats that I don't rate, like Lil Wayne and Jay-Z. And I mean, I'm weird on Snoop Dogg. Like, I love Snoop Dogg, love him, adore him. I think he's such an incredible human being. I don't consider a lot of the music to be like true rap music. It's much more like R&B in my mind, where it's just like kind of flowy and less. That's fair. Yeah, less words per minute. And you know how much
he's definitely a rapper, and you can put him in the best because look at what he's done for awareness of the culture that he represents and how it transcends the culture into. I mean, you look at the pictures, best buds with Martha Stewart. I mean, like that's.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So the only other one I'd throw up there is 50 Cent.
Unquestionably, there are some great rappers out there, but we're talking about the best. I do think Eminem is the best.
Yeah, it's Eminem.
I think Eminem is the best.
Yeah, Eminem. Okay, we solved that one for sure. Okay, next one.
And the Beastie Boys, obviously. No, the Beastie Boys were fun, not good.
Exactly, fun, not good.
Okay, License to Ill, like the tape got worn out. Paul's Boutique, you could not make Paul's Boutique today because it would be too expensive with what they were be able to string together with samples and then their talent. Like, it is amazing. Like that. As a you didn't say rap group, you said rapper.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did say that.
Yeah. Wu-Tang.
All right, the next one.
Check out their Tiny Desk concert. It was awesome.
Best electronic band.
Are we talking
Orbital.
techno? Are we talking
So
like
a lot of techno artists can be included in there, but there's like electronic bands. I've got one in mind for sure.
Orbitals, the box is probably my like, and then the extended box, like the 30-minute version of the box, is my best. Are you counting like Aphex Twin?
I think so. Like I have like Prodigy, Daft Punk.
I was gonna throw out Prodigy or Daft Punk.
Prodigy's
my
mine.
two.
I like
Yeah,
Prodigy.
Daft Punk could be mine. Just Daft Punk's just like a touch above Prodigy in my mind.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal preference.
What do you?
Just because I
Just go ahead.
go on.
No, just because you.
I know what you're saying.
Just because you. Did you?
Yeah, you had
I don't know, you're not
Chemical
gonna finish your
Brothers. I'm
thoughts.
actually a big fan of Chemical
Oh,
Brothers.
the Chemical Brothers. That's right. They're good too.
It's not bad. Yeah, Aphex Twin is up there for me too. Like,
If I
very
was
much.
if I was ever a great hitter in the National Baseball League, I would come out to an Aphex Twin song.
Thought about that, eh? Everybody's got their theme song. You know what? That's what we got to come up with our theme songs. We did that in another Fuego, I think, at one point.
That's only in a very specific segment. If I'm
Oh,
coming
it's
up to the
only
plate,
only if you're a good hitter. Okay.
and I'm going to knock it out.
And so the reason I put Daft Punk over Prodigy is just because, as far as I'm concerned, Daft Punk conjured the genre. Like,
That genre existed for 30 years before Daft Punk ever
it did.
thought
It
about
did. It's not-
putting on
but
their
tell
helmets or
me-
whatever. If I'm even thinking about the right ones.
Yeah. But tell me where it started for you if it wasn't Daft Punk.
It's so. I mean, Orbital, Orb. Those are like there's out of the club scenes. Like it's like there's a bunch of bands that
The discotheque.
were.
We'll go down
Yeah.
to the discotheque. Fair. All right, fair.
Okay. All right.
We
Next
did
one.
not agree. There we go.
Oh, we did.
We had three different
answers. Okay.
I like that.
Okay. I think we're going to start getting contentious now, though, because we're going into heavy metal band.
Guar.
And we have all heavy metal in this, right?
All
This is
heavy
all the silly different names they've decided
Yep.
to call themselves.
Thrash,
like
speed.
thrash, black.
You know that there's a
whatever,
huge
the
correlation
prog.
of metal bands named after things from Tolkien. Like there's
Really?
Yeah.
like
I think I've heard
almost
that,
on like
yeah.
40%. Like
So, got to throw out Black Sabbath, likely the primogenitor of all the genres. But I do not think they're the best. I just think they're very good and worth talking about.
I'm not even sure they're heavy metal.
Me either. That's why I'm saying they're the thing that I think spawned heavy metal, but I wouldn't call them that themselves. I'd call them more like a rock band.
Okay. I mean,
Now
the answer's already in chat. It's
What?
Metallica.
There's exactly. I was going to say it's hard to argue it's not Metallica. There's also there's Iron
Smurfette
Maiden
coming in with all caps.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
caps. So
there's
you can't
also-
argue with that.
yeah.
That's
It's very hard to argue with Metallica for their sheer longevity, the fact that they keep putting out great music, and also if you watch their documentary, you realize they're all douchebags. So that's good too.
it kind of fits, right? I think is that.
Yeah, the only reason it's not Sabbath is because I don't like. To me, they're not heavy metal. They were like the thing that spawned them, but like Metallica was what I think was the heavy metal defining band.
I think that's the one that Metallica made people wake up. They're like, what? Like, what did I just hear? And then,
Yeah.
like
Death Clock. Yes. Everyone go watch Metalocalypse.
Metalocalypse.
Yeah, everyone go watch it. It's hilarious.
Oh,
There's so many different ones. I mean, Def Leppard we could talk about.
Judas
I'm
Priest.
not going to mention.
Also not
Slipknot.
metal.
They can go straight to hell.
Slayer.
You don't like
Actually,
Def Leppard?
Slayer.
No, Slipknot. No, Def Leppard is fun, but yeah,
It's not
Mastodon.
metal. They are great.
Yeah. There's tons.
But I think we're settling on
I think we're
Metallica,
done.
right?
Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah,
Metallica.
we'll go
I
with
think we're
Metallica.
going with Metallica. Yeah, okay. And last but not least, best rock band.
I mean, it's also Queen. But you don't talk about like punk rock.
Yeah, we didn't. You didn't do punk, did you?
I mean, they
Dude,
answered
there
that
are
religion. You don't
like
have to feel like that.
I actually had to search on Google different genres, and there's like 100. So
There's too many.
there's too many.
Spinal Tap. Yes, KR.
Spinal Tap.
My favorite at the moment, I've had such a renaissance on Rolling Stones. Like I really did not appreciate them when I was younger. I think they're incredible now that I'm older.
Rolling Stones is
well.
hard to
There's
go
a
against
huge
this.
catalog of Rolling Stones that you would have never heard on the radio. Like it's like you think Rolling Stones. I guess maybe my age is like 4 songs, but no, like you could go deep on their catalog, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
Zeppelin. I am big only because we've given Queen one already. I'm going to go Zeppelin for the best rock band. In fact, there was even votes. I remember a radio station canvassed a bunch of other bands at the time. They like in the 60s and 70s. They canvassed other bands, and they said who if you could replace one member of your band with one member of any other band, and it was like 95% of the time they would replace their band member with someone from Led Zeppelin. Because it was the most complete band of all time at the time.
Yeah, Pink Floyd is also it's got to be up there of
like
because what you just described is a band that has every member has talent, and like Rush, like does this Rush sound like 3 people are on stage playing? No, it sounds like 10 people are on stage playing. And, the best, by the way, the answer is still Queen. But so what we're talking about, not giving this to Queen. So I think you can make a case for these other bands y'all are talking about.
Is Tool rock?
I thought Tool would be metal.
I would have thought as well.
Or industrial, that's the other one.
I will straight up refuse to give it to Tool because they smell their farts too much.
Oh,
wow.
Bang, 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 bang.
So brought it up just to did you get jab?
I went Zeppelin. Dustin went Queen. Dustin, what do you get? I did. What did you go? Oh, sorry, Paul went.
He's closed then.
He's closed.
No, if we're picking another band, Pink Floyd has probably got the best.
And what did you say, Adam?
I said Zeppelin.
I'm
thinking of artists that I have like the entirety of albums on my phone in the rock genre, and it's Queen and Pink Floyd.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. I have to say,
although the Beatles are also rock bands.
Rolling Stones, like that's I can't.
Oh, all right. So three-way, nice. Yeah. Notice I didn't mention the Beatles because I reckon the Beatles suck.
Woo!
The Beatles do not suck. The Beatles are amazing. I'm just not quite sure where they fit into these categories.
What? I'm gonna look that up. What genre of music
is the Beatles?
What is a Beatle?
What is a Beatle?
Yeah, what is Beatle?
This is gonna bring up the wrong thing for me. Okay, so they're listed under pop rock, rock and roll, hard rock, psychedelic rock, folk rock, beat music. See what I mean by all these different genres?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard work.
But a bunch of different rock, including pop rock. So they could be in this for sure.
I mean, psychedelic. Yeah, they did do Yellow Submarine, right?
Yes, they did.
They did. But like Abbey Road is. I mean, there's song for songs. There's some of those albums that are just amazing. Like anytime the long one's playing on the radio, I'm probably gonna listen to it.
You can really tell when the drugs they were taking changed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, back then, artists legitimately had to put out an album every year or people would forget about them. Can you imagine? People would forget about Led Zeppelin if they did not put an album out the next year. Where now, because of the technology and the internet and everything else, artists don't put out annual albums. They put out albums every 3 and 5 years. And like, it's just a different world back then.
Yeah.
But then you think about it, you could pinpoint exactly when it went from Revolver to Yellow Submarine, like.
Correct. You're just like, there's the line, and they 200% more tripping.
Well, that's actually a really good segue for it. Oh, you have something else to add, Adam?
I would just like to throw out, we've missed one pop artist that deserved to be mentioned, and that was David Bowie. In contention.
Yeah.
Oh,
Queen still wins, but we forgot to mention Bowie.
We were talking about pop. I was like, it's Bowie. Bowie is in there, absolutely in there, and you don't have some of these other things without Bowie. But it's like, where does he actually fit? And like, let's go. Also, where's Billy Joel fit into some of this stuff?
Yeah.
Oh man, tune into our Discord because we're going to be flooding it with stuff that we forgot to mention, as always with these. We always do.
All right. What is le meme?
Oh, yeah. So I was going to say, being forgotten kind of fits in with this meme because this week's meme theme is the skeleton sitting on the bench because you're waiting too long.
So as of like 1 week ago, this was every Emperor's Children player.
Yep.
This is me waiting on y'all to finally just admit it's Queen to have these answers.
No,
I admitted it was Queen. I was with you. I was 100%.
Wait, I did too. I was with Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all said Queen. Come on.
It still felt like an eternity. I'm like, come on, get there.
Sure. All right. I get it. It's a meme. This is everybody waiting for 11th edition.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got like if it's the same as the last 2 editions, it'll be like what, next year sometime, right?
Yep, next year.
Next
Hard
year.
to speculate. Games
If they're on the 3-year thing, where
but they might just do editions like within editions, like 10.1 now, because they've really streamlined it, right? So
I'd say we are in 10.1.
Yeah.
Not 10.2.
Oh yeah, we are.
Right.
For sure.
We are absolutely. Like as soon as we got out of the index, like that's when 10th edition actually started. Before then, it was like beta. 10th edition to beta.
World Eaters waiting on Vindicators.
This is Emperor. Yeah. I was going to say something about Emperor's Children, but it's not out yet. There's so many good ones.
Who doesn't have their codex yet?
I love it. The Emperor, the God Emperor.
It's just the Emperor.
It's just the Emperor.
That is excellent.
That's a good one.
Oh, this is me waiting on Daredevil to come out, man. I'm really excited.
Oh yeah.
It's
next week.
It's fair.
This is like
the codex yet. So
January 31st. After you're still wearing it, like sorry, January 912th is what.
It's all the people with a yellow Space Marine army waiting for a reason to play it.
It's every single Warhammer player right after a data slate drops, waiting for the next data slate.
That's true. Yeah, nothing gets you more excited post data slate than the next data slate. Fuego.
That is our show this week. It has been a pleasure talking about Warhammer with y'all, hanging out with the chat. I hope everyone is doing great. We'll be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. If you have not joined us live yet, come and be part of the fun. If you have not joined us on Patreon yet, consider doing that. Tier 2 and higher gets access to a whole second show where we run down our predictions and see how well we did. We also score each other on points. And you'll get to learn who won February next week.
Because these are the last scores of February.
If you haven't already figured it out from all of the things that we've been insinuating in this episode.
We'll throw some more of our things that occur to us in the Discord, post some hobby stuff in there. It's going to be awesome. Hassle-free ways to support the show, as I mentioned before, hitting us the likes, giving us some subscribes, leave some comments. And then until next week, hope you all have a great one. Good luck out there, everybody.
See you next week.